Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Vannin and today you join me back here on Flingerfoo's Foo Fighter Patreon server. That's a mouthful. Today we're not going to be joining up with Flinger to go and do some kind of adventure. What we're going to do is instead we're going to do what my channel is normally about, which is building. So today in the background here we have my Hobbit hole that I built first couple of days on the server. And I've decided that as the Shire here is slowly growing, then I'm going to add another house to here. For anybody that happens to join, then in that case, they can come along and claim these. One of the guys that is here in the Shire with us, Boo Boo, he made this house here. And I believe there's another one a bit further down. Too short to see over the hill. Yeah, we've got another one just around the corner here, available for people. One of the guys has made the green dragon. This is a stables that I built the other day, and we have our blacksmith here, built the other day as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a Hobbit hole here. Now, you may notice there looks like an awful lot of complex foundation layout here. And what I wanted to do is kind of show you how this goes together. So, it starts off with your foundation, your 4 foundations here, or you could just do 2. It's entirely up to yourself. I just put down 4. And from this height, we need to lower foundations further down. And the reason why is because on the inside here, snapped to this foundation. Let me get a pointing stick. So, snapping to this foundation here, we have this archway here. So, this is a medium gate frame. So, snapping to this foundation and the foundation that was here goes that gate frame. Now, in order to create the round hole, as it were, we need to use these, which is the half arches. So, we have one that goes on the top and we have one that goes on the bottom. So, in order to get it to line up, because if we go back over to my one over here, you'll notice it's not quite lined up. See there? Not quite lined up. So if I go and open the door, fine, but when the door is closed. Now, the person that actually came up with this, somebody else that's here in the Shire, and they nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. It was absolutely bang on. Perfectly lined up and everything. So, see if we can emulate that. We go back over here. And you can see, if you look up the top there, it's a little bit too far to the right. Not quite lined up in the middle. And it's a little bit too high. But how did I get to this position in the first place? How did I get this foundation here lowered down by that much? Well, it's the same as lowering foundations full stop. And what I'll do is I'll chuck a link to a video that I did about lowering foundations on a raft, and it's exactly the same technique. So if you've never ever done it, click on that link, and you'll then be able to then go and follow on how to do it. But effectively, all it is you place foundation, stick a pillar in the middle of it. That then gives you a lower snap point to be able to bring down. So I need to get a lower snap point anyway. So if I stick a pillar in the middle of that, and then put a foundation. Now, I've noticed recently that when it automatically snaps down to the point that you want, like that, very often doesn't stay. See how it's bounced back up again? And you might think that it's because of this foundation here, but it's actually not. Even if I was to take that foundation away, there's a possibility of it bouncing back up again. So get it so it's lined up, and then I use the Q, go to the next foundation slot or the next snap point. It can be a bit finicky, so sometimes you might want to just move where you're stood. There we go. That's got it actually down. So I think that that is the snap point that I'm looking for. So if I get rid of that, get rid of that, pick up this fence foundation and pick up this foundation and this foundation, I think that this, now again, because of the unevenness, and one of the really cool things about castles, keeps and forts is that the foundations stack. So you'll notice there that I've got foundation stacked there, so you need to just make sure that you're getting it in the right spot, because there is another foundation down there which it may want to snap to. So now I've got that like that. Now I actually wouldn't do this next step with this gate frame in place, but I'm going to leave it in place so that you guys can see how it all comes together. But 100% I remove this foundation and this foundation for this step, and the reason behind that is just so that I can line it up properly, but nothing else. I'm not worried about any other snap spots or anything like that. I'm purely so that I can actually stand like this on this edge, and I need this fence foundation to actually slip over. I'll just come out of K mode and get this lined up as best as I can. Another really good function or feature of Castles, Keeps and Forts is the mod maker put very handy lines down. Now I've gone and pressed the mouse button. I'm going to do that. So give it another go. Get this lined up. Kind of like that. Feel free to stick tongues out for concentration and things like that. Now, if we go into K mode, what will happen now is obviously we move further out. Cave mode is available on consoles as well, so have a look up of how you can do that. Now, you see how this gate is in my way, so I'm probably actually going to take these bits out and bring you back once I've actually finished this. But effectively what you're going to do, you're going to need to play around with this in terms of how far over you need to bring it in order to line it up. Now, you notice earlier on I pointed out to say that it was sticking over to the right a little bit. It wasn't perfectly centered. So I had obviously nudged it along too far. I also find as well that you want to come in like that. So you don't actually want any of the foundation showing. You want to actually bring it in. Otherwise, you'll have too much of a gap between the medium archway the medium gate and then those archways. And if there's too much of a gap in there, it doesn't look great. You see too much of a shadow behind it. You actually see, it doesn't feel like it's part of the wall. So sticking it over a little bit. Now, this is going to be trial and error. This is going to be a little bit fiddly. But in my opinion, this is what makes something really stand out and pop and look really cool. So I would say take your time. Once you've got your foundation to the height that you want, you're then just going to line it up using these fence foundations. So you're going to stick one here. Once you've got it lined up by sticking the other two archways on and seeing how it lines up, once you've got that done, then you can snap another one to it, put the other side on, stick the door, the gate on, and then you're done. And then we can go further forwards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording at this point, get this all sorted, bring these guys back once that's done, and then we'll then carry on and see what we can do in terms of making this into a hobbit hole. So, bring you guys back in a bit. Okay, so it's now morning time. So I didn't bring you back whilst it was night time as well. You wouldn't be able to see anything, and that would be rubbish. So, I've gone ahead and started to build things up. As you can see here, we now have a wall and such. Now, not many places are overly flat for you to do a huge amount of building on any map. So here we actually have a bit of a step. And with making that step, because of the uneven ground, it means we then have to correct it because of the roof. Otherwise, if we didn't have that, if we stick this in here, flip that round, we can see we have a gap. So, how I've done it is I've used these half walls here. So if I stick that there, and then that there, I will then be able to bring our roof piece across. Now, on the inside of these buildings, the hobbit holes, and in keeping with the film and kind of the rounded looks, we need these. Go there. Now, get rid of this. So, we can then place these half walls in here and up here, and we now have separate rooms like so. Now we're going to need some stairs, so if we come over to here and let's make a couple of stairs. Like so. We then could actually that and that, and then we have some more, and we could we don't actually have any more of those, but if we take that like that, like that, then you can see our shape of our hobbit hole house is coming together. So we'll have a room in here, we'll have a room in here, and then up here we can either have one big long room, or we can separate off into the individual rooms. Now, something I mentioned earlier on, and something that really dawned on me as I started to put this shape together, was I was lining up. I pick up the arch. I was actually lining up with this bit here, which is the actual gate frame. Whereas you want to be lining up with the door itself. Now, there may be an argument that I've come maybe one too many lower of the foundations down, but I think But I actually quite like the way that it overhangs that and really hides the door as such. I really quite rather like that, to be honest. And that then creates the Hobbit hole. Now, yeah, you could maybe come up a little bit more, and that obviously would then hide this bit here. I'm still trying to rack my brains as to if I can maybe place a fence foundation there and see if I can snap stairs to there. So maybe that's the thing. Manual. Right. Let's see if we can crouch, nudge ourselves back a bit forward. See if we can't line ourselves up. Now, fortunately, as you can see there's kind of some lines on this, so I'm kind of just trying to get this lined up in the middle here. Let's see if that works. And what my thinking is, what my idea is yeah, no. That's a shame. I was trying to split the foundation. Well, there you go, a little bit of an insight of how my mind works. So, that is kind of the basis of how you do that. Right, how many more roof pieces do I need? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 more of them. Do I have enough? 100%. Need more wood. Right, I'm going to go and grab some more wood, and I'll be back in a few. Okay, so we're back, and we have gone and got some wood and some other bits and pieces, stone and such. And what I'm going to do now is going to finish off this roof here. So you'll see here I've actually put a full wall. You'll see there's 2 skins here. One is the archways in the front there, and one is the actual gateway. So we're going to snap these to this back one so it lines up with everything else. There. And this is so that we can finish off and do our roof. The roof is in thatch. So ordinary regular thatch. Now, because it's castles, keeps and forts that you're basing off, you will get a little bit of a gap. Not really noticeable. Apparently I can't get up here. Yeah. Do be careful as well, because you do get an awful lot of snapping on like the edges and the corners and things like that. So just take your time. And then you can then get like that. Now, if you wanted to extend out the back, now I'm very conscious because somebody else is already building there as well, so I don't really want to go sort of clipping into their build already. But what you could do is like what we've done on the others, extend it out and slope the ceilings back down to kind of create that look of an actual Hobbit hole where it's kind of built into the ground and into the earth. But I'm going to leave it like that so there's a little bit of room for the person that's building behind. Here, let's go and quickly have a look at mine. I chose to put some foundations at the front, fence it off, get some pipe work going, and get crops going so I have the look of a garden, and well, you know, crops are useful. You'll also notice I had a little addition here. I decided I needed something to cook food. So what I went with here was I inspired from a pizza oven was my inspiration for this. I was watching Instagram and I saw one of the people on there. He was actually cooking a full English breakfast inside of a pizza oven, which I think is a genius idea. But yes, this is inspired from a pizza oven. I've got fireplaces in the back there, mostly just for burning wood to create charcoal to obviously then turn into gunpowder and such. And what I've done is I've hidden campfires just in between there so that I can actually cook food. Yeah, I thought that was quite cool. So you could do something like that if you wanted to. Mine obviously backs onto the water. This, if somebody hadn't already built behind, I probably would have continued that on and maybe done some kind of a kitchen thing at the back as opposed to where I chose to do it, which was a kitchen at the front. I mean, you can do this however you want. You can set it up however you want. Make it as wide as you want. Make it as short and squat as you like. It's really up to you how you choose to do it. So, if you like the video, please feel free. Hit the like button. If you want to see more of my content, then please feel free to subscribe, hit the bell notification. And don't forget, if there's anything you want to say, feel free, leave a comment underneath. If you like this style of building, as opposed to where I speed everything up and add banging house tunes to it, or what, or if you prefer to see it this way round, where I go through it, then feel free, comment. And guys, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Catch you soon.